What really happened at the wedding of Cana? I want to give you prophetic insight into that wedding that you probably have never heard. Most people take the wedding of Cana and they say, oh, that was when Jesus did his first miracle where he turned the water into wine. But God has shown me what the significance of the wedding of Cana is all about. And I'm going to try to give you that information today. I'm going to give you a prophetic insight into the wedding of Cana that's pure and perfect. 100% truth of what God wanted. Now, I want you to read with me, starting in John 2, verse 1. It says, on the third day there was a wedding in Cana of Galilee, and the mother of Jesus was there. And both Jesus and his disciples were invited to the wedding. When the wine ran out, the mother of Jesus said to him, they have no wine. And Jesus said to her, woman, what does that have to do with us? My hour has not yet come. His mother said to the servants, whatever he says to you, do it. Now there were 6 stone water pots set there for the Jewish custom of purification, containing 20 or 30 gallons each. Jesus said to them, fill the water pots with water. So they filled them up to the brim. And he said to them, draw some out now and take it to the head waiter. So they took it to him. When the head waiter tasted the water which had become wine, and did not know where it came from, but the servants who had drawn the water knew, the head waiter called the bridegroom and said to him, every man serves the good wine first, and when the people have drunk freely, then he serves the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now. This beginning of his signs Jesus did in Cana of Galilee, and manifested his glory, and his disciples believed in him. I want you to go back one verse to verse 10. Says, and said to him, every man serves the good wine first, and when the people have drunk freely, then he serves the poor wine. But you have kept the good wine until now. This beginning of Jesus' signs he did at this wedding. Everything Jesus is going to do from this point on is going to be a natural presentation of a spiritual truth. Jesus goes to this wedding and the wine runs out. He speaks to the water and the water turns to wine. Brings that wine to the head waiter. The head waiter says, oh, this is different. You have kept the good wine until last. Well, I'm just here to tell you that this is so simply understood, but yet I haven't yet to hear anybody catch it. His life was going to introduce a new covenant. Contrary to what's normal, where the old covenant or the first thing is normally better than the last thing, in this case, God has kept the better wine for last. The covenant would run out. The first covenant would run out. That was the bad wine that was at this wedding. And then God would speak into the water, and the water would turn to wine, and that wine would be better than that first wine that was served. And then the head waiter would recognize, oh, you've kept the best until last. So different. And that's exactly what Jesus has done with his covenants. The old covenant was good, but the second covenant was much, much better. And that's all he was trying to get across. Not that he had changed water into wine and it was the first miracle. No. The covenant. He came to make a covenant with the world, with the people that would come unto him. They would be his bride. It would be a wedding feast that would be taking place. And he uses it, a natural presentation of a wedding where the first covenant was not near as good as the second covenant is. That's all it's all about. And that's why you see the wine ran out. One thing I want you to understand too is that Jesus was the master of this new covenant. Because he told his mother, when she first told him the wine had ran out, he looked at her and he said, woman, what does this have to do with us? And the next words that came out of his mouth, he said, my hour has not yet come. He did not say our hour. He said my hour. It had nothing to do with Mama and Jesus. It had everything to do with the new covenant. It had to be a new covenant in his blood. It's all about him, not us. It wasn't Mama and him. It was him alone. And that's what you got to understand. This new covenant was going to be much, much better because it was going to be his blood that would be shed. And we can enjoy this new covenant today when you come to Jesus and give him all that you have. Give him all your sin and he will come in to you in Jesus.